All right, welcome crypto community. For today, we have something a little different as we welcome the new CEO, Ryan, the Flex Hound, formerly the FUD Hound of Safemoon. Welcome, Ryan, and welcome into the Reflex Legion, one of the best crypto communities out there.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. I'm glad you all are on here. Just a quick disclaimer before we dive in, none of the content for today's discussion is financial advice. So don't get that confused. Nothing in here is going to be financial advice. A couple quick questions, just kind of getting a gauge for what you think about Reflex so far. You're about a week into being the CEO of Reflex Finance. What are your thoughts so far?
I built a relationship with Miles for a little bit of time, and I had met the core team, and I had just such great synergy with them. Like we've always said, like our ethos, everything that we see as far as how a company should be ran, where we're going, the direction we're going, how we want to make a difference in the space, that all aligned very well with the core team. And then I started meeting the rest of the team members, and it was like, wow, and I've just met them past few days. It's just such a slam dunk. I mean, everybody who works at Reflex is so passionate. They work so hard. Their work ethic is amazing. I mean, we've just really formed a really nice, tight knit group. And I'll tell you, I'm very, very hopeful, and really looking forward to what we're going to be doing at Reflex. I'm really excited.
And I can tell you, as a community member and investor, I see the exact same thing. Every time I go into the Discord or every time I go into the Telegram, everybody is awesome. Whether it's so different. Krifu or and any one of the members that are in there are just so supportive. It's amazing community.
Yeah.
So we
have a great team.
Definitely, I completely agree. That's actually one of the things that drew me to Reflex Finance was the team. So I recognized a lot of them from prior projects and just going through different Discords. I'm in a lot of the exact same Discords and saw a lot of them interacting there. And when they joined Reflex, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah. They all definitely have their own personalities, and I came into the team and everyone's just 100 miles an hour. We're just getting so much work done. I mean, it's such an easy fit. It's just a logical, easy fit.
Definitely. What do you think the future of Reflex Finance looks like moving forward?
So I'll say this. We have a lot of things that we're working through right now. One of the things that I mentioned in my address to the Legion was we're going to be revisiting that roadmap. I think that's really important. And it's really important because how we build our products, the way that we build them and what we build should always contribute to, our core mission statement. And we discussed that as well on the video that I put out, the address to the Legion. So when we think about the core, right, what are we trying to do? Well, we're trying to make DeFi a safer place. We're building a Launchpad to vet real projects, to vet the founders of those projects, to ensure that we're platforming projects and token partners and things of that sort that we've vetted and that we've looked at. And this way it's going to help the community, right? Because at the end of the day, if holders don't know really what they're investing in, they don't have a lot of information, and that's what we see right now, then what that does is it makes the space a little bit more risky. So we're just trying to remove that risk as much as we possibly can. There's some great founders, great entrepreneurs out there that want to push the ball forward, that have the best intentions, that have amazing tech, that have amazing ideas. And the holders, and when you connect those people to the holders aren't always informed, right? So we're trying to do our very best to not just do good by the holder, but also do good by the actual token partner, the entrepreneur, the project. And, to do that, you need to build a solid platform that people can trust. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. And I say this, and I'm very passionate about this because I've been a startup junkie, right? I've had, other companies acquired. I've always been in the startup space. This kind of stuff, it's very close to my heart. I'm very intimate with it. And so, to help entrepreneurs in this way, in this fashion, means a lot to me. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to help these people and help the entrepreneurs. And like I said, help the holders as well, be as informed as possible.
Definitely. And as a YouTuber, I definitely appreciate what you guys are trying to do as well. Every time I cover a project that hasn't launched yet on this channel, and I've only covered a couple, I'm always on pins and needles wondering, is it going to be okay? Is it going to make it through the launch? Is it going to fail miserably? Is it going to be a rug pull? And I'm really looking forward to your Launchpad because it's going to take some of that risk and some of those pins and needles out of the equation, trusting that you guys have already done a lot of that for me. I'll still do all my normal research like I normally would, but it's going to add a lot of security to the entire process. And I'm really excited about that. You know, I covered a recent launch and it's getting ready to go through its launch today. And I'm definitely on pins and needles because you just never know.
You don't. And it's the Wild West, you know, and there are other solutions out there, obviously, but they only go so deep, right? There's only so many layers deep that they check, and then they pushed out that pre-sale or they push out that launch. Yeah. And, you know, so many people will invest in that and put into that and then not understand, okay, what did I just put money into? And then they find out later on. We're trying to do the best absolute, you know, bang up job that we possibly can, looking at all of these partners and saying, look, we've done our due diligence as much as we possibly can. We've done everything on at least on a check level, a background check level, you know, a KYC level that we possibly can, and then also on a contract level. So we're just trying to do everything we can to mitigate that risk.
Awesome. And I know the investors will definitely appreciate that, because that's one of the most nerve-wracking parts of getting into projects is launches, hands down. Yeah. And I've been there, and I'm sure you have too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, well, I haven't taken some time to assess Reflex so far. Have you identified any changes that you will be implementing?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the changes we're going to be implementing, like I mentioned, is definitely we're going to be doing a facelift on the website. You know, awesome. The branding definitely needs an overhaul. You know, it worked for, you know, the first few weeks to kind of get the product out there, get noticed. But now we're starting to really hone that in. And so that's going to get a nice facelift. The branding is going to get a nice facelift. And then, like I mentioned, we're going to be revisiting the roadmap just to ensure that we're offering products that serve our core interests and serve our mission statement. Because we want to make sure that we don't just throwing out products. We're throwing out products that actually serve what we're doing. And that means serving the holder, the entrepreneur, and making DeFi a better place. And so our Launchpad will be a testament to that, right? Our Launchpad is the first product, but with our Launchpad, you're going to get a basket of goods. You're going to get all these things with the Launchpad that help the entrepreneur, because a lot of these entrepreneurs, many of them, this is their first time ever launching a token in this space. So for them, it's new. They've never done it before. You know, how can we help them move forward? How can we help them not just launch a token, but then also hold their hands in other ways? Hold their hands in other, you know, in other ways, as far as services go, as far as other partnerships go, as far as marketing goes, as far as other software tools go. That's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to make it the best platform possible for the entrepreneur and for the holder.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of investors don't realize how much goes into an actual launch. I mean, they see the social media presence, right? They see the Twitter, they see maybe you have a Telegram, maybe you have a Discord, but they don't necessarily see every other aspect that goes into the planning of a launch. And it sounds like you guys are going to focus in on trying to help those projects do well during that entire process. That's awesome.
Correct. That's exactly right.
Speaking of the Launchpad, a lot of the people in the community might not be aware, but there's some recent articles. So I'm going to just kind of cover some recent updates about the Launchpad, and then I'll ask you some questions about it. Let me summarize some of the Launchpad details for them. You're going to return tokens at any price within 48 hours of the launch, provided they provide a screenshot of that price. There's mention of a 15% off, not a lot of details there. The gold tier discounted rate for token launches and smart contract audits through InterFi. Another gold tier item is going to be users may apply for Discord building services at a discounted rate. And having seen your Discord, it's one of the better ones out there, which again, I would expect that from some of the members that are involved in your team. They do a really phenomenal job with the Discord. So that's an awesome service right there. And then the service is also available on demand to create an account within 24 to 48 hours without extra cost. And then there's the silver tier. Users can only access the smart contract audits and the KYC procedures And then as far as the security aspects, you're advertising a lower risk of fraud, users with fake credentials through the process, facial recognition that identifies people wearing 2D and 3D masks, compliant with strict regulations such as BaFin and FINMA. I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about those. You're going to be automating document recognition, AI, and machine learning comparison to help facilitate the KYC process. And then the KYC process will search all databases worldwide, including international intelligence agencies as well. And then the Launchpad is going to have multi-platform functionality with support for Android, iOS, and the web. That's a lot. That's a lot more detail than have been released about the Launchpad up until this point. And I wanted to definitely call attention to that because I think the community definitely wants to know what's going on with the Launchpad. But some of the questions I had going through that is, how does a potential 15% discount work?
So traditionally, when tokens launch, sometimes you'll get a big spike in price, and then it'll dramatically lower. Depending on the launch pad that a lot of these entrepreneurs will launch on, they'll be beholden to that kind of that spike in price. What we're trying to do is we're saying, you know what, we're here for the entrepreneur. We want to do right by the entrepreneur and by the project. So we're going to allow up to a 15% discount if it spikes in price. Because at the end of the day, obviously there's going to be a 1.5% fee that's basically set on all tokens sold of that project. And, if there's a spike in price and that strike price is a lot higher than where the token was, then that's not servicing the entrepreneur. It's not helping them. So the 15% is kind of a little bit of a, I would say, an incentive for entrepreneurs to work with us because we're there for the entrepreneur, right? We're there for their project. We want to see them succeed. So it's kind of a little bit of a safeguard. It helps them out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've watched a lot of launch charts, and sometimes it won't have that dip until after the 48 hours or the 2 days in, and then you see a pretty good dip. And to be locked in at a price that high right after the dip,
exactly.
that's definitely painful. It
is painful. And a lot of these people, we got to think, like I mentioned before, these projects and entrepreneurs, this is their first time doing this, and if you're launching a token and this is what happens to you and to your project, and this is your first taste of the industry, I mean, what kind of taste does that leave in your mouth? It doesn't help them. It doesn't serve them. So we're trying to do things in a way that actually serve the companies and serve these projects. And it needs this. This is what the space needs.
Especially when they need the resources to get the marketing going and to really get everything moving for the longevity of the project.
Exactly. And if you're now beholden to a price like that, and that's where all of your funds have gone into, or your resources, now you're pushing your rock up the hill and trying to get your project going.
Yeah, definitely. As far as the Discord services, the gold tier can apply for Discord services at a discounted rate. What is the on-demand, and is that available for silver tier just without a discount, or is there a service that'll be available to all launching projects if they want to get just the Discord services, for example?
So gold, it would have that included. Now, if they went to silver, they could always get the Discord services as well if they wanted to as an add-on. Yeah.
Now, what if they're launching on a different platform? Could they come over and a la carte Discord services from y'all at the full price, or is that something you're offering as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we would offer it separately. If it's something that they want to, purchase from us separately, say they already launched, or say they didn't even work with us at all their entire launch, then yeah, of course, we'll still have those services for them.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I said, you guys got one of the better Discord servers. So if you're setting those up for everybody, I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. And it goes with that basket of goods thing, right? Because it's like we're trying to set the entrepreneur and the project up for success. So all of the little things that we can do along the way, hey, we can help you with this, we can help you with that. That's important to them, because at the end of the day, all that does is add more equity into their company.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big Discord proponent. I prefer that over Telegram any day of the week. So if we can get better Discords out there, I'm all for that.
Definitely.
As you build more services, will the silver tier launches have access to other services as well, just a la carte, or is there going to be certain things that are only for the gold tier?
That's a great question. We're kind of still looking into that, but as of now, a lot of the things that you see in the gold tier can also be added on at a later date into the silver if they decided to, or they decided to upgrade. We're still kind of, working out right now with the services that we have. Yeah, they can upgrade if they wanted to purchase separately. There's talk about other products and other offerings that we haven't announced yet, that we're looking into that may or may not fit into that concept. But as of now, yes.
Any hints you want to give the community what you guys are looking at?
Oh, some exciting. So I'll say this: there's something that I've had for a few years that I have not pulled the trigger on yet, and it is a product and an offering that would be absolutely perfect to add into like our basket of goods for these projects that launch. It would be absolutely perfect. So we're dusting it off. And this would be something that DeFi as a whole has never seen before. It's a very unique product. And I'm an innovator, and it's like, it's the new products. We need to innovate in this space. How can we help not just entrepreneurs, but other projects in the space as well? So that might be something that we'll be announcing a little later on. It's already designed. The entire system and how it would run is designed. It's just a matter now of how we fit it into this product roadmap, how important it will be, what kind of value it'll add right off the bat, how it will bring utility to Reflex. All of those things go into, when we decide to pull the trigger on a new product offering. But it's a really exciting one. And I think that when people see this, they'll be very excited.
That's awesome. I know that a lot of investors are like us. We're all looking for something that's unique or something that pushes the space a little bit more, or something completely different. So that'll be exciting to anybody that hears that portion. That's something I look for as well. So
yeah, and you heard it first here.
All right, so now we'll just turn to a couple of community questions. I tried to find out who exactly asked me these questions so I could give them credit, but there's a lot of different comments, and I couldn't narrow down which people were the ones that were asking these. But one of the questions is what would you tell people in the community that are concerned about CEO turnover this early in the project?
Oh, not even a problem at all. So, a lot of startups, especially very early startups, everyone's the first person in is a CEO. It's just kind of how it's just the labeling. It's how it goes. As far as Miles coming in, I will say, Miles is a great leader. And by that, I mean, he knows how to put people in the right position. And so, he doesn't come from a tech background, right? He doesn't come from a blockchain background. And he identified that early. So it doesn't take away from the fact that he's an amazing leader. And from identifying that as a leader, he was able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and step aside. And he got promoted to chairman now. And he said, you know what, let me bring in someone who's done this. Let me bring in someone who's built products, for a big, blockchain company. And, we had met, we formed a good relationship. I mean, this was something that just kind of organically happened. And, it was just kind of one of those things where he said, you know what, I think Ryan's the best pick for this spot. And, he's seen my track record. He saw all the products that I'd pushed out for Safemoon. He's obviously seen my experience in my, prior acquired companies, and obviously our ethos and everything that we stand for just aligned. So I don't see that if there is FUD or anything about it. I mean, I wouldn't even understand why, you want to have the best people in the best positions in your company. Yep. And, Miles is not gone, right? He's still with the company too. So, if you have a company where there's people, there's constantly a revolving door, people leaving, then yes, that's a problem because that all rolls up to the leadership. But in this case, Miles literally made the choice of stepping aside and saying, okay, I'm going to put this person in the right position. That's leadership.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as Marines or former Marines, I think we all get that a little bit more than a lot of the civilian counterpart, that you kind of build up in the organization as a civilian and you kind of just stay in those roles or move up through that company. I was in different billets my entire career, as an aviation guy, I'm aircraft maintenance, and I was doing things completely unrelated to anything that flew in the skies. for most of my career, whether it
Yeah.
was, working with infantry in Afghanistan or as part of a treaty compliance team over in Europe. That has nothing to do with flying jets. So, I think we're attuned to, we surround ourselves with the best people for the jobs, right? And
Correct.
most leaders are successful, not because they're phenomenal leaders. They're good at identifying people to put around them to make sure that they're successful.
Correct. That's absolutely right. It's, you take your ego out of the equation and, you put the right people in the right places. And that's something that Miles has done. And coming into this team, I'll tell you, I was very surprised. I am really, really excited about this team. Very excited. So
definitely. And I look at you as part of the team and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And we're keeping Miles too. He's just moving up to the chairman. So we've got a phenomenal team at Reflex Finance. I have no worries whatsoever. There was just that question out there just because there was that turnover. And funny enough, there's, the opposite argument is out there too. When Miles took over, the question is, well, what makes him qualified? So there's always going to be both sides. But
exactly. You can't always make everyone happy.
Nope, not at all. And then the only other question that the community pushed up to me was, there's been some concern over the future of the Reflex Safemoon partnership. Do you have any comments you want to give the community about how you see things?
Yeah. So I don't see any issues with us. I mean, we're right now we're on the swap. We're just not on the swap. And I think this is coming from people, the swap opening and not seeing Reflex on there. Do not worry. We basically, the way that we're doing it is we want to make the swap, make our swap go live on Safemoon whenever we have the V2 contract done. The reason for this is, here's the process. So Reflex has to go in, we have to seed liquidity. We'll do it for a few days. And then we seed the liquidity, people can swap. And then we have to go back to the Safemoon team and say, hey, and waste their time and say, oh, hey, now we need to unseed and then reseed again. So it's not convenient for either parties to do that. And it's also not convenient for the holders either, because now it's frustrating for them. Okay, I can buy and now I can't buy, get it together. So when we go live again, we want to make best use of everyone's time and ensure that we're doing it in a professional way and a very clean way. So whenever we go live with V2, it will go live on the Safemoon swap shortly thereafter.
No, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, I know it came back up live and everybody's asking the question of, well, hey, why isn't Reflex on there? We should be on there.
Yeah, more fun. Some people, I guess they get a little bored, so they have to spread that stuff. But we're going to definitely be on there. Just waiting for after the V2.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's pretty much all my questions. Do you have any closing thoughts you want to leave with Reflex Legion or potential investors that are researching whether to make the leap into the Legion?
Yeah, I would just say, we have bolt-on horsepower now. We're moving ahead very quickly. We've been actively working on partnerships, great partnerships that are going to help really not only add utility to what Reflex is doing, but also longevity. So, we're working behind the scenes with a lot of different companies. We are, working behind the scenes on new technical products that we can add to our suite of products, to our ecosystem. And then we're working on, ways that we can add, like I said, more utility with Reflex with other projects as well. And that's the main thing, right? You can't it's not just enough to have a great face of a company and a token. You need to put that token to work. How is that token being put to work for the community? How is that 15%, those tokenomics, how is that actively being utilized? That's what you need to find. That's the utility you need to find. Because if you're not actively integrating your tokenomics with other partners and with other ecosystems, then you're not helping the community at all and the holders. So that's what we're actively doing. We're doing that in very unique ways, and it's very exciting. So you will see a different Reflex, like I said, website and brand here soon. We've just started really the planning for that and the design work for that. And that's obviously going to attract a lot more holders as well, because, image is everything, right? So we have to make sure that it's very professional. We have to make sure that, what we get into and the partnerships that we make are professional. And then there's obviously a philanthropic side that we have, right? Giving back to the world, giving back to the community, giving back to charities, things of that sort. So, there's responsibility in every aspect of growing Reflex Finance. And we're trying to hit everyone the best we can. So that way we're adding a value to this for everyone, not just the holders, but for the entire DeFi space.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. I put together, what do I think Reflex Finance could look like in 5 to 8 years? And I put that out as a tweet. And, I'm hearing kind of the same concept of building around that core, like building out from that core area and adding more utility and really building on it. And that's awesome. And if anybody's watched my videos, they know that I harp on websites.
Yeah.
And I draw attention to, you're already on the website and you were the very next day. That's what investors want to see. They want to see updated. What do you guys got going on? What are you doing? What's the future of Reflex Finance? So that's awesome that you're definitely listening to the investors and what they need.
Absolutely. And that's the core to my belief system in building any product. If you're not listening to your holders, you're not listening to your customers, what are you doing? Yep. You need to listen because they will give you they are your free QA testers. They're your free beta testers. They are your free focus group. They will tell you exactly what they want. All you have to do is listen and implement. That's all you have to do. It's very simple. And it's amazing to me, I've been a part of, or I've seen other companies and the way they work. And it's like, they're saying exactly what they want, but the company's not listening. And it's almost like they've lost touch of, who their customers are, who their users are. And here at Reflex, I'm very, very firm on ensuring that we're listening to the community. We're listening to, the needs of the community and how to make this better. We love feedback. We love input. That's what makes us better. And, as we move forward to try to do right by, the new projects and the new holders of those projects, we're doing everything we possibly can to ensure that it's a nice, seamless, safe process.
Yeah. And I've attended most of the AMAs, and it was funny because we were doing a couple of AMAs there that because you were being so transparent as a team, there wasn't any questions because they'd already been answered.
Yeah.
and they would do the update and they already knew because they'd already been hearing the same thing and they're moving forward. So you guys' transparency and your willingness to listen to the community is definitely appreciated. It's definitely Absolutely. One of the things a lot of people like about Reflex Finance.
Hey, and we'll continue to be that way. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. You or any member of the team are definitely welcome on the channel. I always ask a lot of questions, but you guys always have answers, so it works out well.
Fantastic.
As one final note, tomorrow, 2 April, Miles and Ryan will be live on Hey John's channel, so definitely check that out. And you're probably going to get the opportunity to ask some questions, and you might get some answers back from the team directly. Thank you to the community for tuning in. As always, stay strong with those diamond hands.